Hi guys, it's Frankie from Frankie Tech. Good to see you guys again, and today I have a special unboxing of a very unique phone, the Unihertz Titan. And this phone comes in at $339 US. Check the links in the description where you can pick up this phone. And for the first time ever here on the channel, I'm checking out this QWERTY keyboard 4G rugged smartphone. This is basically a throwback to the days before the iPhone and Android, and you had phones like Nokia, like my beloved Nokia E72 you see right here. This was my favorite phone back in the late 2000s. And a lot of people are now looking back nostalgically at keyboard phones and thinking, why can't we do these in a modern way? Well, that's exactly what Unihertz Titan has done here. So let's look quickly at the details of this phone. You see you have an octa-core 2 GHz processor, 6 gigs, 128 GB of RAM, a 6000 mAh battery, very impressive spec there, 4.6-inch display, 16 megapixel with autofocus, rear camera, and 8 megapixel front-facing camera, Android 9 out of the box with LTE, Bluetooth, GPS, and NFC, IP67 water and dust resistance, and there is wireless charging on this phone as well. So I'm pretty excited about this one. Let's go ahead and unbox this bad boy. So pretty nice utilitarian box, just like a recycled cardboard. Tearing it off, here we go, and lifting the lid. Designed by Unihertz. Let's set this aside, and there it is. Look at this beast of a phone, and wow, look at this thing. But let's set this aside for now, and look at this throwback. We actually have headphones in the box, and you see it is 3.5 millimeter, so that means we have a jack on this phone as well. And tearing off this plastic, let's see what type of connectors we have. USB-A to USB-C, another welcome sight, and here we see the AC adapter, and it looks like this can support around 18 watt fast charging. And let's have a look at what is in this little flap. We have the SIM ejector tool. We have an additional screen protector. That's a very nice touch. And here's the Titan user guide and the warranty guide with all that good information right there. So actually, nice unboxing here, Unihertz. I'm very impressed with all the additional kind of things I got here, like the headphones, like the screen protector, all in this really nice recyclable box. Very nice unboxing overall. And now let's do it. Let's take this thing out of its plastic. Should take off the entire back sticker. There we go. And there it is, guys. And initial impressions. Wow, this thing is a beast. It's almost like one of those doogee rugged phones married a BlackBerry and made this beast. And definitely getting those rugged phone vibes from this really nice kind of rubbery back to this very nice metallic finish. And I like this red accent button. Initial impressions, very positive. But let's go ahead and touch this keyboard. Very clicky, and it feels very well built. So I don't know if this is a power button, but let's go ahead and power this thing on. Oh, so it is the power button on this side. So we'll have to figure out what this button is in a little bit. But powered by Android, here we go. Unihertz loading up. And another hi there intro page. That means this phone is going to be running a very stock version of Android. And here we are, guys, in the main home screen of the Unihertz Titan. And I'm just liking this very stock Android look to start with. But I will tell you guys, setting up this phone, it's a little bit strange, but it's also a little bit exhilarating. And it's crazy to think at one point I was probably faster using a keyboard like this to type. So we'll probably take a couple of days to get used to using this type of keyboard again. But initial impressions of the design of this phone, a really rugged build, really nice. And there's the 3.5 millimeter headphone jack, USB-C at the bottom. And it looks like right now this red button is actually being used to activate the flashlight. And in terms of display, that's the other thing that I'll need to get used to here. This very squared off look. It is very unlike the aspect ratios we see today, but I'm liking it so far. And I think a big part of it is this very stock look. So stay tuned, guys, for the full review of this Unihertz Titan. I'm going to come back after a couple of days of using this phone and then share my full thoughts. Stay tuned. Alright guys, so I'm back after a couple of days of using this Unihertz Titan. So in terms of dimensions, a very thick phone, 16.65 millimeters, 303 grams, and it is a hefty unit, but at the same time it comes with this incredible rugged build quality, and that's actually been one of the things I've enjoyed the most about it. IP67 water rating, it will withstand the elements. Now there is one thing though about the dimensions that I don't like, and that's the fact that the phone is really wide, and this obviously has the benefit of making this a wider, more comfortable keyboard to type on, but at the same time, when it comes to just using it daily, I find it struggling to kind of move around one hand one-handed with this phone. And if you're trying to take photos with this Unihertz Titan, make sure you use two hands, because I can barely reach the camera button when I'm holding the phone one-handed to take a photo. But overall design, I love the rugged nature, and despite being quite a bit heavy and a little bit wide, it is one of the plus sides of this phone. Display, we have a 4.6-inch 1430 by 1438 pixel display. It is an LCD panel, and I've actually been pleasantly surprised with how this display works. Now, when you're on Twitter, it does take a couple days of getting used to this very squared off display, but very soon I got used to it. And while it is LCD, it is a very high-res panel, and once again, yes, the aspect ratio may take getting used to, but another positive of this phone, the display, I think is a solid one. Performance with the Helio P60, this is going to be a mid-range to lower mid-range performer here. You see the Antutu scores, 138,000. This is a productivity first phone with this keyboard, of course, but believe it or not, you actually can do some gaming on this phone. And if you're doing some light casual gaming on this phone, it should work absolutely fine. And in terms of battery life, with a 6,000 milliampere capacity, 18 watt fast charging, I've actually been very impressed with the battery life of this phone. I've actually not charged this Unihertz Titan in the past 3 days, and I'm at 24% battery life now, and I'm pretty sure I can get through 2 days easy, maybe even 3 with light use. And there are also a number of added benefits that this phone has, like dual SIMs. We do also have a notification LED right up here. This phone also comes with NFC on board and is wireless charging capable, and a single rear firing speaker here on the back. And let's have a listen to it. And yeah, the speaker isn't anything special, and the fact that it is rear firing means if you put this down on a table, you're not going to hear much. But I do think the added benefit of a 3.5mm headphone jack is a great thing to see, especially on rugged smartphones, which typically remove the 3.5mm headphone jack. It's an adequate listening experience overall. And talking about the cameras, with a 16 megapixel rear facing and 8 megapixel front facing, these are pretty basic cameras, guys, but overall in good lighting, it will still take decent shots. Now, there's one thing though I did notice with the front camera is that it kept getting my face kind of out of focus and putting the background in focus. So Unihertz, maybe this is a software bug or something, but I just couldn't get the front camera to focus on my face. But in decent lighting, this camera does a solid job, and even in darker settings, you can still get quite a lot of detail from this camera. And last but not least, let's wrap up here with the star of the show, which is the reason why you would really pick up this phone, is this full QWERTY keyboard layout that is probably the most unique aspect of this phone in 2020. And I gotta say, it's been equally strange, but also equally satisfying typing on this keyboard. But all in all, I think the keyboard is well built, the keys are really sturdy, and I think you get the added benefit of just modern kind of autocorrect and other things, which makes typing on this a lot better than I expected. Now, I definitely have moved away from these types of keyboards a long time ago, and I'm definitely faster typing on a touchscreen keyboard now than an actual physical keyboard. Also, the aspect of kind of going from the physical keyboard to the touchscreen interface on the top is a bit jarring. So let's say if you're trying to type in a password on a website, you're either going to need to go to Alt to put in numbers, or you're going to have to go up here and you're actually going to have to select and bring up the virtual number pad to be able to put in those numbers. So I think that's one area where this keyboard maybe lacks that functionality, but surprisingly enough, the thing that has worked best with this keyboard is actually the capacitive buttons that you would typically use to navigate an Android phone. So pressing here at the top just to be able to open up your recents, and here's the home button, which also serves as the capacitive fingerprint scanner, and it works really efficiently. I have no complaints about this fingerprint scanner, and there's just something nice about being able to use actual physical buttons to navigate an Android phone again. I feel like I'm back in 2009 doing it, but it is refreshing to say the least. Guys, I don't think this type of form factor is for me, but if you were looking for this type of QWERTY keyboard phone in 2020, then this keyboard definitely will satisfy your experience. It's the closest thing to a BlackBerry Passport from 2014 that you will get in terms of the keyboard here in 2020. And so that's it for this video, guys, and my final verdict on this Unihertz Titan. What an interesting beast of a phone, serving equally as one of these rugged phones with a giant battery that will last you days and days. It has that DNA of the Doogee S68 Pro and the S88 that I have reviewed before, but then once you add this QWERTY keyboard, it becomes a completely different thing. And while I feel this phone isn't for me, I'm glad that this phone does exist. Now, as I mentioned before, guys, before I got into touchscreen smartphones, my favorite smartphone of choice was this Nokia E72 with these physical keyboards back in like 2009, and I absolutely loved this phone. Now, the difference for me is that I have long since become accustomed to a full touchscreen display, and I will probably never fully go back to this type of keyboard myself. But for all you guys out there who are looking for a full-size QWERTY keyboard with terrific rugged build quality, but most importantly, a phone that prioritizes having that full keyboard experience, I don't think you will find a better choice in 2020 than this Unihertz Titan. And check links in the description where you can pick up one of these QWERTY full-size keyboard phones for yourself. But hit me up in the comments. What are your thoughts on this Unihertz Titan? And what was your favorite full QWERTY keyboard phone of all time? Hit me up in the comments. I'd love to hear about it. And that's it for this video. If you liked it, give me that thumbs up. And if you love the content of Frankie Tech, subscribe to the channel. Hit the bell icon for future updates. K30 Ultra, guys, coming very soon. Stay tuned, guys. It's going to be a fun week coming here on the channel. And this is where I leave you by saying, this is Frankie Tech signing off. Have a good one.